Hey guys, Victor here, coming at you with another deck profile, and for today's video we're going to be covering heroes, which, if I'm being honest, hasn't really changed all that much, as we're basically just waiting for the new support in January with the introduction of the evil heroes before we can see the deck actually facing some new drastic changes. But even so, it's still really enjoyable, and it's better to, just make sure that we're not as rusty so that we can actually fully use the new cards when they eventually do come out. So, with that out of the way, let's jump straight into it. As always, the monster lineup is going to be coming first, so we're of course going to be playing 3 Elemental Hero Stratos, and then to go with our 3 Elemental Hero Stratos, we're playing the 1 Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. Now, as far as ratios go for this, you typically see either 3-1 or 2-2, and I'm definitely more biased towards the 2-2 variant just because I feel like the second Shadow Mist does provide you with a little bit more grind game, as opposed to the 3 Stratos 1 Shadow Mist line. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter, and it really does just come down to player preference, so play whichever variant or like ratio that you prefer. But yeah, even so, 3-1, perfectly fine. Then for the other Elemental Heroes, we're playing the 1 Liquid Soldier to draw more, the 1 Elemental Hero Neos to go into our Wingman fusions, and the 1 Elemental Hero Blazeman, which it is starting to catch on, which, pretty cool. But the main reason why we play the Blazeman is just because it's pretty much one of the only cards that allows us to actively play through getting dimension shifted, as it doesn't rely on you having a hero monster in the graveyard to search out Polymerization, much like Vision Hero Vyon. So as long as you normal or special summon this and you get hit by shifted, you can at least try and make a field. Like, it won't always be the most successful or like the most unbeatable, but it's better than nothing, right? So yeah, definitely got to include the 1 Blazeman just because of that degenerate card that Konami refuses to address. And then for the final Elemental Hero monster, we're playing 1 Wing Kuriboh level 6. So this card is always treated as an Elemental Hero monster, and it's always treated as a favorite card, which is why I consider it an Elemental Hero monster. But if I'm being honest, this card is honestly kind of just whatever. Like, it's not terrible, right? It's another pop that can burn your opponent, but I don't know, like, it's fine. You don't really need it just because this deck already does enough destruction as is, but it being able to recur itself once per turn is by banishing a Wing Kuriboh or a hero fusion monster from your hand, field, or graveyard is honestly pretty solid and does add like another dimension to your grind game. So it's okay, but I really would not recommend playing more than 1 if you want to play it. Then that's it for the Elemental Heroes, and then for the Vision Heroes, really standard stuff, being the 3 Vision Hero Faris, the 2 Vision Hero Vyon, and the 2 Vision Hero Increase. Yeah, basically when it comes to every hero deck, the monster lineup is pretty much just always going to be the same. There isn't really very much room for variations, if I'm being honest, just because it's pretty solved as a deck, and like a large majority of the hero monsters are, let's face it, garbage. These are pretty much like going to be the only good ones. And that's it for the Vision Hero monsters. And then for the Destiny Hero lineup, we got our 3 Destiny Hero Malicious, the 1 Destiny Hero Denier, and then lastly the 1 Destiny Hero Plasma. Gotta play the ugly one to tilt your opponents as much as possible when you summon it. And with that, that's the monster lineup, and now we can finally move on to the spell and trap portion. Now when it comes to the spell and trap lineup, it's basically filled with nothing but starters and board breakers, because in case you didn't notice, this deck plays no hand traps, as it's one of the few decks that doesn't really benefit from playing hand traps in the main deck. So yeah, with that in mind, we're going to be playing 3 A Hero Lives, pay 4k, special summon an Elemental Hero from your deck that's level 4 or lower, 3 Fusion Destiny, because Destiny Hero Destroy Your Phoenix Enforcer is a broken card. Then for the board breakers, we'll be playing 3 Triple Tactics Talent and 3 Forbidden Droplet. You could play 3 Dark Ruler no more, but I'm just not really a big fan of it, mainly because of the fact that you can't finish off your opponent that turn, and that's one of Hero's bigger strengths, right? If you're able to resolve something like a Forbidden Droplet or a Triple Tactics Talent just to break your opponent's board, ideally you want to finish them off that turn, just because it's very possible in like this current format just for your opponent to like potentially crack back into the OTK you back, which is something that I feel like we want to avoid at all costs. So yeah, 3 Droplet, 3 Talents, perfectly fine. Then for the 2 ofs, we're still playing double Polymerization. I feel like this card's more important than ever, and it's literally one of the main reasons why we play the Blazeman, right? Because if you get shifted, you want to open Polymerization as consistently as possible, and even though if we want to open as often as possible, that means we'd have to play 3. 3's a brick, but 2 I feel is like that perfect sweet spot where you can get away with it. And it also means that you don't have to overly rely on cards like Xtra Hero Wonder Driver to reset your poly to be able to continue to combo off. So yeah, 2 poly, perfectly fine. And then we're also playing the 2 mass changes. You can play 3, you can play 1, you can play 2. It doesn't really matter. All that does matter, though, is that the extra copies are always going to be in your side, and then you put them in accordingly depending on if you go first or second, right? Unfortunately for me, I'm not very good at winning the die roll, which is why we play these board breakers. And if we're not good at winning the die roll, mass change does lose some effectiveness just because you're not able to drop Dark Claw to auto winning against most of your opponents. But even so, 2 mass changes is perfectly fine. And then that's it for the 2 ofs. And then for the 1 ofs, we play the 1 Call by the Grave. Just 1 reinforcement of the army. I like Foolish Burial and I like Emergency Call, but I don't really feel like they have that big of a place in the way that the current modern hero deck plays. I definitely feel like reinforcement of the army is superior, especially because in addition to being able to add like Stratos and Shadow Mist, right, there are certain situations where those cards aren't even like the valuable targets to add, right? Sometimes you can make an argument for adding Destiny Hero Denier or Vision Hero Vyon just to be able to ensure that you can get a certain play off. So that's why I prefer reinforcement of the army over to Foolish Burial and E-Call, but once again, it's mainly like a player preference thing, so whatever. And then for the final spell, we play the 1 Miracle Fusion. And that's it for the spell lineup. And then for the traps, we're not playing Infinite Impermanence, but we are playing the 1 Favorite Contact. It's okay, you know, it's pretty solid. This is going to be pretty much like the final combo piece that you need to be able to ensure that your opponent can't break your board, and you're typically just going to be searching it off of your Infernal Flame Wingman. So with that, that's the spell and trap lineup, and now we can finally move on to the extra deck. When it comes to the extra deck, we're going to be starting off with the 1 Exceed monster we play, being the 1 number 41 Bagooska the Terribly Tired Tapir. This card, it's literally only in there for the situations where we get hit by Drone and Lockbird or Dimension Shifter, for example, just because this deck does struggle tremendously against those cards. So in addition to cards like Elemental Hero Blazeman, right, it's nice to have that little extra bit of insurance to ensure that you can at least potentially survive another turn. It's not always going to work, but it's better to try than just do nothing at all and just sit there and get OTK'd. So yeah, 1 Bagooska. And then for the Link monsters, we're playing the 1 Extra Hero Wonder Driver to reset our fusion spells from the grave, the 1 Extra Hero Infernal Devicer, whose only purpose is to search out Elemental Hero Neos, and then 2 Extra Hero Cross Crusader, who's able to basically just bring back your Destiny Hero monsters, and then you contribute any Destiny Hero monster to search out any hero card from your deck to your hand. The only downside to Cross Crusader is that it does limit you, as if you want to use any of its effects, you can only be special summoning hero monsters for that entire turn, so that part sucks, but it's still one of the better cards in the deck as far as like consistency wise. So yeah, definitely got to include 2 of it. And then I don't play Dread Decimator just because I feel this deck already does 1,000,000 damage, so you're basically just playing it for no reason, right? Just to like flex, and it's just completely unnecessary. But if you want to include it, who am I to tell you no? But yeah, I feel like this is perfectly fine for the links. And then with that, we can finally move on to the fusions. So we're just playing the 2 Master Hero Dark Claws. We only play 2 mass changes, so we don't need to play the other guys. You can make an argument for playing something like Master Hero Blast or Divine Wind so that you can help Stratos dodge Imperm Veiler, but honestly, if your opponent is dropping Imperm Veiler on Stratos, they're already kind of, let's face it, they're not the greatest players in the world just because those cards are inconsequential. You'd rather, or if they were a good player, they'd be dropping it on cards like Vision Hero Increase or Vyon or Faris or anything like that, or even Cross Crusader, just because like it's such an obvious bait, but that's a video for another day. Point is, 2 Master Hero Dark Claw, really strong still. And then that's for the Master Heroes. And then for the Destiny Heroes, we're playing the 1 Destiny Hero Dangerous, just because I still enjoy going Fusion Destiny into a 1-card Dark Claw, just because it can win you the game sometimes, and that's literally the only reason why we include it. But I just want to point this out as well. So since it takes 1 Destiny Hero monster and 1 level 6 hero monster, you can send the Wing Kuriboh off of Fusion Destiny just to set it up for the next turn, just because it does, you know, it is treated as a hero card always. So just something to keep in mind. And then for the other Destiny Hero monster, just 1 Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, card's broken. And that's it for the Destiny Hero monsters. And then we just have a bunch of Elemental Hero fusions basically from this point on. So you play the Flame Wingman Infernal Rage, who if you use the like Elemental Hero Neos, for example, as fusion material, you're able to tribute it to special summon a hero from your extra deck or your deck that can't be normal summoned or set or whatever. And there's literally only 1 card that we're going to summon off of this card, but Wingman's other effect is where when it's fusion summoned, you're basically able to add any favorite card from your deck to your hand, right? And we play 2 in the form of Favorite Contact and Wing Kuriboh level 6, so we just have multiple options that we can constantly grab off of this card. And I know I said from the deck, but it can also get it from your graveyard. So this card is just, it's really solid in what it's able to do, and yeah, it's but we don't need more than one. And then the card that you're typically going to be summoning off of its tribute effect is going to be Elemental Hero Sunrise, who on special summon, not fusion summon, special summon, is able to search out Miracle Fusion. It boosts all your monsters by 200 attack for every different attribute. If another hero monster like battles, whether it's attacked or is being attacked, or whether it's attacked or is whether it's attacking or is being attacked. There we go. It's able to destroy a card on the field, which does come up very frequently, and it's just an all-around good card. And then for the only Omni hero that we're going to be playing one Elemental Hero, Kuriboh. I'm still a really big fan of this just because you are going to constantly find yourself being locked in by Fusion Destiny into Dark Heroes, so having that little extra bit of oomph to try and OTK your opponent is always going to be welcome, and that's literally the only reason why we play Kuriboh. But yeah, as for the other cards, we play the Shiny Neos Wingman. This is basically what you're going to be summoning off of Favorite Contact every time. It's fine. It destroys cards on the field equal to the number of different attributes on the field, so it can very easily pop like 2 to 3 cards just by, you know, flipping Favorite Contact, because you're always going to have something else on the field to pair with this. And then much like the original Shining Flare Wingman, it gains attack for every hero monster in your graveyard. If it destroys a monster by battle, you get the Flame Wingman effect where you get to burn your opponent. But yeah, this card, it's just insane, and it's pretty much like one of the main cards that helps us prevent our boards from being broken. As if that wasn't good enough, right? It also can't be destroyed by card effects. So if you have like a Destroy your Phoenix Enforcer, right, you basically have 2 free pops, as you can attempt to destroy the Shiny Neos Wingman plus like another card on your opponent's side of the field or your own field, and only the other card would get destroyed. So yeah, this card, pretty good. Then for the final hero fusion, we're playing the one Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. It's fine. If it's destroyed, you get a special summon a warrior from your deck. It's also an attack boost, but unlike Shining Neos Wingman, it's for every material used. And then it also gets like additional attacks for every hero fusion that you use to summon it, which typically isn't very many, but it can, you know, potentially attack multiple times. And that's it for the hero fusions. And then we do play one other fusion card, being the Guardian Chimera. So this is like another cool, cute tech that I enjoy playing in hero decks, just because we have a higher emphasis on polymerization in my specific version. But even if you're playing like the Neos cards, right, this card does come up a lot pretty frequently, and it's always great to catch your opponent off guard, because you activate polymerization, and then because it's a hero deck, they're typically going to let it resolve as nothing important is usually being summoned, right? They're going to save all their negations for whatever comes out to try and negate that instead. But if you're bringing out Guardian Chimera, and it's always going to be right up by polymerization, that means they can't target it, so they can't stop it with Imperm or Effect Veiler. You're going to be drawing cards, you're going to be destroying cards, and yeah, the moment this card hits the field, the chances of you winning are honestly incredibly high. So that's why I just enjoy including it into the deck. And with that, that's the hero deck profile. If you guys enjoyed it, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya!